Children in anime have quite an extensive reputation for being disproportionately stronger, faster, and smarter than many of their adult counterparts. One character who has performed incredible feats at just 12 years old is Gon Freecss. Honestly, this kid's resume is longer than my own. But where did he start at the beginning of the series? What did it take for him to get stronger? How does he compare to the other hunters he interacts with? And most importantly, what might the future potentially hold for him?
But before we go any further, this video is sponsored by Tower of God, Great Journey. The new mobile RPG is based directly off the webtoon, with the same great story and world quality animation. You can pick out your favorite characters to form a team for climbing the tower, everyone complete with their own stories, ignition weapons, and special attacks. Everyone's looking amazing and their moves are silky smooth. But Bam/Viol, you'll get one of them for free at the start of the story, ready to jump into the missions in Revolution Road and start racking up rewards. Transcending materials, ignition weapons, who knows what else? And thanks to the gear sharing system, you can spread that loot around your team easily. The game's got an AFK style idle mode, so you can get rewards while offline for up to 16 hours. And for its launch celebration, Tower of God Great Journey is offering 50,000 gold, an epic endorsee, and 10 tower summon tickets. So what are you waiting for, regular? Head down to the description and check the referral link. You've got a tower to climb. Thanks to Tower of God Great Journey for sponsoring the video, but now back to the topic at hand.
Gon's job hunt. From his first step into the hunter exam, Gon proves to be a pretty special kid. His unwavering determination is put front and center on the horrific boat journey to the exam itself. Of the dozens of applicants, only 3 potential contenders are able to survive the harsh conditions of the trip: Kurapika, Leorio Paradise, and Gon himself. This is an effective early establishment of Gon's tenacity. This kid is incapable of quitting any task presented to him, regardless of how physically or mentally detrimental it may be. His intelligence and easygoing nature are solidified on the second half of the trio's trip. He's easily able to see through their guide's monstrous facade and rapidly befriends the Kiriko clan of magical beasts. Honestly, without Gon, I doubt that Leorio would have made it to the actual exam. Kurapika might have had a chance on his own, I'll explain why a little later on, but Leorio is obviously the weakest out of the trio and relies on Gon to make his way to the exam. Once the 3 actually make it to the hunter exam start, Gon meets his first proper match in Killua Zoldyck. The two breeze through the first assigned task of running at least 2 marathons and climbing a flight of stairs that had me winded just looking at them. With one simple challenge, Gon's physical prowess is introduced as he and Killua keep pace with the examiner Satotes the whole time, only stopping to make sure Leorio is fine. His above-average athleticism comes into play again with the second challenge, running through the monster-infested woods. Considering he's also being stalked by Hisoka Maro, who would have passed the exam the previous year if he didn't almost kill an examiner, Gon's got his work cut out for him. He's able to distract the clown from hunting Leorio and Kurapika and even lands a hit on him with his signature fishing rod. Hisoka comments that he wants to fight the kid when he's grown up a bit more since he sees the potential. This rematch will come much sooner than either party expects, but we'll talk about that later. Gon, Killua, and Kurapika carry themselves through this challenge and the next, with Leorio being dragged along. It's during these elimination challenges that Gon's physical prowess and undying optimism propel him closer and closer towards the coveted hunter license. It's on the blimp ride to the final portion of the exam that Gon's potential is realized by one Isaac Netero, the chairman of the Hunter Association. Netero takes an immediate liking to Gon and Killua and offers to play a game with them. If they manage to take a ball from him, they can bypass the final stage and automatically become hunters. But after hours upon hours of failing to even budge the old man, Killua decides to give up, while Gon continues on. His resourcefulness and never-ending perseverance keep him going. He stops aiming for the ball and instead shifts focus to the smaller goal of making Netero use his right hand. And to the chairman's surprise, he manages to do it. Despite doing Netero's challenge all night, somehow Gon is ready and able to complete the giant task that is the second to last challenge, making it to the bottom of the Trick Tower in 72 hours. He defeats one of the most dangerous prisoners in the whole country and figures out how to win despite the 50-hour penalty the group was stuck with due to the saboteur Tompa. Finally, Gon is eligible for the final elimination challenge. To win, an examinee must either capture 2 badges or capture 1 and keep their own. One must be the intended target they randomly selected. Gon's target is Hisoka, who had gotten progressively more ruthless as the exam continued, with a kill count of at least 20 examinees. Considering their previous meeting where Hisoka expressed an inappropriate interest in Gon as a fighter, I personally would have given up entirely to save my own skin. But against all odds, he's able to capture the creepy clown's badge and keep his own thanks to Hisoka killing the examinee that was hunting Gon. The child also gains Hisoka's respect, if you can call it that, in the process. As he received 6 points from the final challenge, Gon qualifies for the reverse battle royale for a hunter license. He and Hanzo, a Saitama lookalike, are the first two to battle. Hanzo is unwilling to fight a literal child, less because of its dubious morality and more for his ego, but Gon refuses to let the martial artist give up without a proper battle. So the bald man acquiesces and tries to make the fight quick and easy, even breaking Gon's arm in an attempt to make him give up. But Gon just won't quit and was able to get a few good licks in on Hanzo. Eventually, the martial artist can't do anything else except concede, much to his pint-sized opponent's chagrin. After waking up from the admittedly harsh punch to the face Hanzo used to shut him up, Gon learns Killua was the one unlucky applicant who did not get his hunter license because he murdered another contestant. After learning this was caused by Killua's older brother Illumi Zoldyck, who's been flying under the radar in a pinhead disguise, he immediately becomes enraged. In Gon's first expression of true anger, he raises Illumi above his head and then breaks his wrist. Let me say that again! Gon, still a little concussed, managed to raise a grown man over his head and snap his wrist like a twig. The most unethical fight club. After technically completing the hunter exam, Gon has the legal means to officially find his father. But he realizes he isn't quite ready to search for Jing yet. So he and Killua decide to venture to Heaven's Arena, a massive tower with round-the-clock fighting tournaments. The typical draw for potential fighters is the prize money for beating each floor, but Gon has something much deeper fueling him: getting stronger. Like I said before, this kid does not know when to quit, and that proves to be an asset in Heaven's Arena. He and Killua are able to defeat 16 fighters before reaching the crucial 200th floor of the building. This is an impressive feat regardless, but it's even more unprecedented considering it's Gon's first time in the building while Killua's on his second go-round. It's after the two are unable to register on the 200th floor, thanks to Hisoka's meddling, that the duo are schooled in the ways of Nen. The two do eventually manage to register after a crash course from Wing, and the benevolent teacher decides to teach them the rest of the principles of harnessing their aura. The two are able to harness the power of Nen after just a few lessons and are one step closer to becoming proper hunters. Naturally, Gon takes to the principles of Nen like a fish to water, and is easily able to apply 10 in his next battle. Okay, he does lose to Geto at first and breaks his arm, but it took a bit for Gon to get vulnerable enough for Geto to maim him. And after his arm heals and he finishes his Nen training, he absolutely bodies the wannabe floor master. Once the two hit the 200th floor, the structure of the fight shifts from tightly controlled to no holds barred. Anything, including Nen and weaponry, is allowed from here on in. We saw this with the fights against Geto, who used his Nen to manipulate tops to harm and confuse his opponents. But he's not the biggest enemy Gon faces to get to the coveted 251st floor. That honor goes to Hisoka. The clown's been maneuvering up the floors with impeccable ease, managing to maim and kill any opponents that has the misfortune of crossing his path. This is thanks to bungee gum, which has the properties of both rubber and gum. Honestly, it might have more than just that though, as it seems to aid Hisoka in whatever way he needs it to. Killua goes and watches one of these matches and returns to Gon with a grim prognosis for his friend's scheduled fight. He should probably plan for the worst. But it turns out Killua's warnings were a bit premature, and Hisoka's earlier assessment of Gon was correct since this kid won't let a little, or a lot, of intimidation get to him. He's able to hold his own against Hisoka for quite a while, and is even able to land a solid punch on his much more experienced, ruthless opponent. Even though Hisoka wins the match using more of his dirty tricks, Gon's able to perform two acts he's been wanting to do. First, he returns Hisoka's badge from the hunter exam that he's held onto since that second phase. He proves he's a capable fighter both physically and with Nen. He is able to actually somewhat challenge Hisoka, a much more experienced fighter after mere months of training. The timeline of this series is incredibly short. I'd be remiss not to highlight that Gon's hunter journey started less than half a year ago. He's been able to become a hunter and an experienced fighter/Nen user with strength to rival someone like Hisoka, a man double his age and the dirtiest fighter in the series. If you want more Hunter x Hunter content, be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on to never miss an upload, and smash that like button for some plot armor today. Gamer Gon. After returning to Whale Island, Gon finds himself in possession of a very unassuming chest. Well, unassuming except for the fact that this is a gift from Jing if Gon completed the hunter exam. The chest is double locked with Nen and a slot for a hunter license. This box can only be opened once Gon has proven himself to be a capable hunter, and the license and Nen seals are representative of barriers he should clear. Once opened, it contains 3 items: a ring, a memory card, and a cassette. Jing finally makes his somewhat proper debut over the tape, explaining what the contents are, what's on the memory card, and why this gift was left in the first place. He expects his son to be strong enough to find him by the time he's gifted the box. Now, there's no way Jing could know what age Gon would be if he chose to get a license, but it seems like he had some latent hope that his son would follow the same path he did. Considering the father and son both get their hunter licenses as preteens, I'd say Gon is definitely living up to his father's legacy at this point. Jing did provide a nice gift on the memory card: Greed Island, the most coveted game on the whole continent. This serves as a reward for Gon getting his license and mastering Nen. If he was unable to complete both, there's no way he could have gotten this massive clue towards his father's whereabouts. It almost serves as a checkpoint for Gon and an explicit sign that he's getting strong enough to be considered worthy of seeing his father. The York new arc is the first time Gon gets kind of sidelined. This arc is less about his development and more about Kurapika's. That being said, Gon still does get a few moments to shine. We see completely new skills from him that actually shows he's much better at strategizing than he gives himself credit for. His money-making tricks so he can purchase Greed Island are genuinely impressive for anyone, but especially for a child. Gambling is the way to make money in York New, which means people are going to cheat and lie to ensure the house always wins. Despite the skewed odds, Gon manages to win most of the games and win large sums of money. Later on, he takes Wing's advice to heart and creates a new Nen technique using everything within his Gyo, which even the narrator of the anime is impressed by. This is his first level of awakening and the first hint that Gon has something powerful lying dormant within him. They make it through York New fine, despite getting caught up in the resulting feud between the Phantom Troop and Kurapika, who wants to reclaim the eyes of his fallen brethren. We mentioned earlier that Kurapika could have probably made it through the Hunter exam on his own, but now this is the point where Gon stops being the strongest rookie hunter in the series. That's not to say he's not a strong young hunter, everything we've discussed in the last 2 sections proves otherwise, but Kurapika kills 2 people with pretty minimal effort in this arc. Gon, as skilled as he is, lacks a bit of maturity and refined technique at this point. Eventually, Gon and Killua find themselves in Greed Island, playing the game on behalf of a wealthy patron. The two soon run across Biscuit, who despite her appearance is an incredibly experienced hunter who's been in the game for a while. She steps up to fill Wing's shoes, becoming the pair's instructor for advanced use of Nen. It's also another great example of how talented Gon is. Even a veteran hunter like Biscuit is impressed with the potential the two boys demonstrate. The trio make their way through the game, encountering every manner of liars, cheaters, and a madman bent on reenacting Sword Art Online's Aincrad arc. And while there are a few snags, Gon is able to ultimately secure the prize, collecting all 99 restricted cards by completing their associated tasks or trading with other players. His unclouded mind and general perceptiveness is very helpful in this situation. The 3 hunters do run into their share of physical challenges, but ultimately win by engaging with the game world on its own terms. While most of the hunters are trying to game the system, speedrunning Greed Island as quickly as possible, Gon taking the time to talk with NPCs and go through seemingly unimportant quests helps his team find cards other players have never seen. While they were all playing Dark Souls, Gon was playing Wandersong, and doing so won him the game. That doesn't keep them entirely safe, however. One particular quest forced them to face Razor, a mass murderer hired specifically as a mini-boss by Jing himself. Gon is able to defeat this brick house of a man, proving that he can indeed follow in his father's footsteps since it was Jing that actually arrested the mini-boss some years ago. I'd put Razor on the same level as Hanzo way back during the Hunter exam, except Razor has the capability to play dirty. This fight is easy proof that Gon's stamina, strategy, and strength have grown over the year that's passed since our story began. I doubt that the Gon from the Hunter exam arc would be able to even beat the first puzzle in Greed Island, much less beat any of the mini-bosses. The skills he's learned from Biscuit during his gameplay, as well as the stamina he built up in Heaven's Arena, prove that he's become a much more capable fighter. Turns out, the predetermined path was written by Gon Freecss himself as a way to train his son to become a stronger hunter. The massive royalty checks he's probably receiving from creating such a coveted game is just gravy. More importantly, he's developed enough to potentially become a strong hunter like his father. The margin is still wide, as characters like Razor and List note, but he's steadily climbing his way towards success. The Peak of Freecss. This is it, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Chimera Ant arc. Heralded as the most epic part of the series, Togashi puts all of his characters through the ringer, and Gon is no exception. The Chimera Ants are by far the nastiest antagonists so far. Sure, the Phantom Troop are ruthless, but the Chimera Ants lack any humanity or moral compass. Well, some of them do have human DNA, but their motivations are still rooted in survival instincts rather than wanting wealth or power. Gon, who's been established as a strong fighter but a mid-tier strategist, has to quickly adapt to a brand new battlefront against incalculably difficult odds. The early phases of the Ant invasion see Gon, alongside his father's mentee Kite, and his team start fighting off massive hordes of ants. He has a bit of a learning curve with the first ant Rammet, but is quickly able to adapt to fighting non-humans. The young lad proves to be a huge asset to the team as he defeats opponents like Centipede and Frog with ease. This is also where he masters John Ken's scissors. Gon proves that he's great under pressure when he's able to manifest this technique without issue while fighting the mini horde of Chimera Ants. It's important to note that this type of Nen falls under the transmutation type. Since Gon is an enhancer, it's weaker than his preferred rock attack. So the fact that he's able to land such a mighty blow with suboptimal Nen is proof of just how much raw power Gon brings to the table. But even this rising star hunter has his limits, and they arrive swiftly with his first matchup against one of the royal guards. Gon and Killua are able to survive the first scuffle with Neferpitou, only thanks to Kite sacrificing himself to the ants. And this is where Gon's biggest weakness really shows itself. He's so single-minded that he'll refuse to back down even when he's near the brink of death. Killua has to knock him out to get him to lead the fight. Until now, this determination has served as an asset. He's mostly been in controlled battle situations at this point, and the one time he wasn't in York knew he wasn't a target. After losing the leader of their expedition, Isaac Netero decides that the situation is too dangerous for rookies to deal with unsupervised. Biscuit returns with 3 new hunters in tow: Knuckle, Palm, and Shoot. Gon, Killua, and Palm are put into a team against Shoot and Knuckle, told to compete to see who can accompany the chairman's team into the field against the Chimera Ants. Biscuit and Palm train the two boys to use Nen in more inventive ways, hoping that'll be enough to catch up with Pitou's rapid growth with Nen. If they can take down Knuckle and Shoot, it'll prove they're up for the job. Gon is almost able to defeat Knuckle, but runs afoul of his ability, nullifying his Nen for the next 30 days. He was almost able to overcome a veteran hunter, but only via actions that would have gotten him killed in a real battle, facing more than one enemy. This was a Pyrrhic victory for sure. Eventually, the boys still join the Hunter Association on their mission to kill Pitou and save Kite, though royal soldiers like Poof give them a solid challenge. Gon demands that the ant heal his comatose mentor figure, threatening to kill an innocent young blind girl Pitou is tending to if he refuses. Showing more humanity than Gon, the confused cat boy, ant doctor, whatever he is, goes along with it, following Gon to find Kite in a state of suspended animation. Pitou admitting that he can't heal Kite almost breaks Gon. He's just standing there in shock as Pitou summons Dr. Blythe to heal himself, barely registering the ant's intent to kill him now. Defeating Neferpitou in his normal state would be near impossible, even with extended aura like he used in the training with Knuckle. Pitou has some insane Nen capabilities, and even more brain power. Sure, regular Gon is able to break Pitou's arm, but his healing abilities, the aforementioned Dr. Blythe, guarantee big injuries won't last for long. Gon has to pull out every stop in order to ensure this traitorous ant finally pays for his crimes. He activates all of his aura in a vow similar to Kurapika's Emperor Time, boosting his power while aging him at least a decade. I mentioned before that Kurapika has probably become the most powerful rookie hunter around Yorknu, so exceeding this level of power spells doom for Pitou. This limitation transformation, activated by his extreme emotional reaction to acknowledging Kite's death, gives him the physical stats that training every day for decades would have granted him. It works incredibly well, as it sends the villainous ant flying into the distance with one solid blow. Pitou can physically feel how powerful Gon is in this state, and even compares him to the Chimera Ant King Meruem. Considering Meruem is the prophesied world-ending power the Hunter Association is trying to eliminate, Gon in his transformed state is reaching somewhere near godlike status. Even Pitou's Terpsichore is unable to withstand his newly gained strength. His reanimated corpse is left fighting the mountain of a man that Gon has become. With one more Jonken, the young, or old, hunter defeats his nemesis to avenge Kite. This final battle is a huge jump for Gon's physical and emotional strength, even looking beyond the stat jump Killua points out. This feat of transformation is an odd mirror of his mentor Biscuit, who uses the same type of Nen to appear far younger than she is. This moment is truly the peak of Gon's single-minded battle strategies as well, since he almost killed himself as a result of this transformation. Only the miraculous powers of Nautica were able to pull him through. No Nen? After exerting literally everything he had to defeat Neferpitou, Gon's future is now kind of turbulent. Many of his goals in life have been completed both of his own will or as a consequence of the fight. A positive result was reuniting with his father, though this feeling of elation is more one-sided than it should be. See, the constant cat-and-mouse game that Jing and Gon had was entirely set up by the Elder Freecss. If he had it his way, Gon would have gone through even more side quests and training arcs before meeting Jing. But life is unpredictable, and Jing's refusal to see his comatose son was met with ire during his ironic bid to become the new chairman of the Hunter Association. It's near impossible to speculate what Gon would have been like if his father was less of a rogue adventurer, or even if he managed to visit home every few years, and if that would have made him a stronger hunter. Jing is a loner by nature, and what I do think is that Gon had the makings of following in his father's footsteps and becoming one of the greatest hunters alive. Emphasis on had though, since the downside of going Super Saiyan was losing his ability to use Nen. All of his aura receptors are now closed, leaving him back at square one. Jing does confirm that his son isn't permanently injured by this, simply reset to his pre-awakened state. The boy is a natural, which we saw during his first Nen training with Wing, so I doubt it would take him long to get back to where he was pre-Neferpito. But that's not the path Gon decides to take. He's found a wonderful group of friends, gone on many adventures, and finally met his father. For now, he returns to Whale Island to his grandmother and Aunt Mito to continue life as a normal kid, and he seems genuinely happy to do so. Unlike his father, Gon thrives on companionship and family. So that's where his hero's journey ends, back home with his surrogate mother figures, catching up on the months of schoolwork he missed. However, that longing for strange sights and impressive vistas never really left him. At his core, Gon is a wonder hunter, someone drawn to the exceptional and majestic. It's unlikely that he'll stay living a normal life forever. I also doubt that he'll be separated from Killua for too long, as the two seem to share a penchant for mischief and adventure. Since Killua's youngest sibling Aluka is back in his life, he has a secondary Nen user to go on adventures with. However, I think Gon still has a place on Killua's adventure squad since they continually make up for each other's weak points. Again, Gon's strength and survival skills make him an asset on adventures. Or if Killua is also done with large missions, Gon has enough wilderness knowledge to carry them through any small journey. Gon Freecss is one of the strongest characters in Hunter x Hunter in more ways than one. His mental fortitude, physical strength, and natural ability to fall into the role of a hunter grants him advantages other hunters can only dream of. Not to mention, all of the foes Gon's faced in the series are older than him by varying margins. Most are close to double his age, if not more. Some of his greatest feats, getting a hunter license, breaking Illumi's wrist, and the first 199 floors of Heaven's Arena, were done before he mastered Nen. While there's definitely characters that excel even more, they're all much older and much more experienced than the young boy. At this time, it's unclear where Gon's story will go from here, since he's not related in any way to the Dark Continent expedition or the Succession Contest arcs. But whatever the future may hold, it's certainly going to be bright. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jack Stansbury, and have an amazing rest of your day.